An ancient artifact, a relic built by forces unknown, discovered dormant, desolate. Yet what other hopes did our forebears have? Upon landfall, this last bastion woke from slumber, terraforming to meet each and every need. A process incomplete, leaving behind swaths of shattered lands. Even still, we have come to thrive here, for this has become our home, this our world, this is Æquillion.
Yeah, the ship just like crashes into the planet, but they survive. They didn't like die. And they built this place. They called themselves the Conclave, and then they called themselves the Agonan Empire. Then they kind of screwed that all up, and then some people had to fight them. They called themselves the Burrowing Scourge. That's where we're at now. We're in this cave. It's super awesome. But the Empire sucks, so we're gonna fight them.
Hero, my brother. There's so many things that are in between. Who they're fighting, the other nations around, Hezra, Colvin, Tesma, like you're skipping out on a lot.
Well, they're all dead. It doesn't matter now.
That's not how history works.
Yeah, but all the cool stuff's happening now.
There's plenty of cool things before, but yeah. Okay, Hero, continue.
All right, fine. If you want to go all the way back to the beginning, they came in and they were in this big spaceship and they were sitting there watching the planet terraform. And then these creatures showed up, these monsters that just wanted to eat everything and everybody, just started attacking them out of nowhere from what I understand. But it sounded like it was a pretty cool battle. I mean, it was like a full-blown war. And of course they survived, obviously. They fought off the monsters, but it messed the ship up so much that they had to kind of crash land before the terraforming was done. So they were able to use their technology and their supplies and stuff to build a new home and make it theirs, but they couldn't go back to space for some reason. They lost the ability to, or maybe they just didn't have what they needed. I don't know. I wasn't there, but for whatever reason, no more space travel. What they did find was that when the terraforming was messed up, it left these huge swaths of, they call it the shattered lands. Physics is different. Things just kind of change there. It's weird, but it's also pretty cool. It's beautiful. I love it. It's where the Burrowing Scourge hides, because that's the best place to be away from the Empire.
Freedom. Freedom will come when the world is re-terraformed. Blessed from the beginning it was.
What was that? Did you say something?
You were just saying about how they couldn't fly after they had crashed because of the shattered lands and technology. That wasn't necessarily the last space flight. There was Hezria, lived in peace with the Empire until Hezria grew too bright and promising for its own good, invited other minds, and Empire, being afraid of losing some of its brave and brightest, decided that Hezria was no longer needed.
Yeah, I remember them. They took their whole city and flew it up into space. That sounded really cool. I mean, of course, the Empire sucked. It sucks that they had to do that, but I do remember that. I want to go there. I knew where that was.
You would want to go to space. I mean, your head's already in the clouds always, so.
I mean, space sounds awesome.
Space from you sounds awesome right now.
But think of the things that have come from space. First of all, us, but then also that asteroid that had all the dinosaur eggs and stuff on it. Those dinosaur people. That was pretty cool. I wish they were all still around. I feel like they'd still be around if the Empire wasn't so kind of gross about how they accepted people back then.
Kind of gross. More than kind of. Unless you were elf, dragonfolk, or human, you weren't even a person. It is vile what they would view as okay and decency in the Empire. And because of such vile actions they took, it led to the Civil War.
Oh yeah, the Civil War, where they split off and called themselves Culverum for a bit. I thought they were pretty cool, that they stood up to the Empire for how they were being treated and stuff. But, and then they got gross themselves.
No, literally, they became a snake that ate their own tail to turn heinous actions upon yourself and then just reverberate it back. That's not how things are changed. They need to be changed from the ground up. You can't just expect to do the different things in a different font. I mean, they even made the Empire seem good. They learned their lesson, as everyone seems to do against the Empire. Speaking of those who go against the Empire and learn their lesson, that brings me to Vesmire, a town burnt, a nation burnt even, over a single child being born, is enough to have all their alarm bells ring because someone has a power that they don't understand. For someone who wants to prosper, they don't seem to really care about any other way to prosper except for their own.
I mean, it's all about power, right? Like, anytime they see anybody with any kind of power that they don't understand, they want to, like, take it, dissect it, figure out how to replicate it for themselves.
A tragic tale. I'm happy she was able to make it out and is with us now, but to have gone through so much, the way she carries herself now is amazing, is all to say.
I mean, I can't even imagine watching your city burn around you the way that she did. No wonder she joined the Scourge, which is why we're here. I mean, we gotta stand up to the Empire, be better.
Rock on, burning scourge.
Welcome one and all to Floodwater, a city built in caverns created by countless floods over the years, where failsafes have been put in charge to let people make a home here, hidden from the Elganan Empire. But let's not get into all that, because there's something quite exciting happening. The farthest corner from the gate, there's a natural amphitheater, and in this place, a concert is being held. Kobe, if you want to give us a description of what's happening here and then go into your character.
Yeah, there's some really cool graffiti style art on the walls of the cavern, and there's a stage that has like no lights on it. The only lights you can see are kind of glowing on the graffiti. A small bit of fog begins to roll out over the stage. As it does so, shadows begin to appear on the stage, lights lighting them up. You see first a skeleton on the drums, and then one on like a piano, and then a third light appears, and there's a zombie that seems to be that of a Empire. Looks like one of their higher ups has been zombified and is there on like base. And then a final light pops on the middle of the stage, and as it does, you see Vindicator there with a microphone stand in front of him that has what looks like twisted metal hands overlapping one of another, wrapping around this pole, holding on to a mic on the top of it. The Vindicator grabs onto the mic and the beat begins to play. As he starts casting minor illusion, lights begin to appear on the stage, small puffs of smoke as he begins to get into his song. The beat drops, he uses major illusion, and three giant eyes begin to float above him as he's playing through his song. You see then him fully lit up, the Vindicator, a taller man. He has bluish metallic mask with three like demonic eyes, a twisted ram's horn on one side, the other a curved upward almost antler horn that seems to be stunted in growth. A crooked asymmetrical smile covers the whole bottom side of the mask that is covering his face, and he wears a dark brown tattered robe covered in patches of his merch and in a black leather print.
Puppet strings, I done cut my strings, yeah, puppet strings, I done cut my strings, so tell me how to live, try to tell me how to dance, tell me who to love, we done broke from that trance, so cut your string.
And you had mentioned there was some graffiti and murals on the wall, so why don't we go over to you, Gabby, and have you kind of explain a little bit of what that art looks like, and then you could go into your character.
Like he said, it is a sort of graffiti style mural. It is a rainbow ombre of colors that go from purple at the bottom into these beautiful like magentas, and then reds, oranges, up until like a green, sort of in the middle. Three eyes with black lashes and black scleras with red irises and those cat-like pupils in the center. One big one in the middle, and then two kind of symmetrically on each side. And just below them, with its right arm reached up towards the eyes, is a black silhouette. In his left hand, he is holding a blade, and his right hand is being held up by 6 neon green strings. And his left hand, the one holding the blade, has 3 strings that have been presumably cut. And he is in a pose that suggests he is about to cut the other strings to free his hand. Tallulah is probably a bit off to the side. He's enjoying the concert, but he's trying to stay away from the crowds a bit. He's pretty tall, about 6 foot, with his little wooden sandals. He's an elf of the mountain variety, with red hair kind of pulled back into a ponytail. And he is shirtless, tits out, as all things should be, kind of hairy and covered in scars and tattoos, various tattoos on his arms. And he's got this beautiful staff that has like this deep blue leather on either end that he's kind of leaning against casually as he's enjoying this concert off to the side.
I know for sure there are 2 others here, and they're both played by one person. So, Jesse, why don't you give us a little bit on your 2 characters?
Yeah, first would be Hero. He's not, the most like tall guy or anything, on the shorter side, but definitely you would notice not like overly muscular, but definitely like a wiry kind of physique to him. And you would notice it because he's wearing the barest minimum requirement of what could be considered a shirt. Just has no need for it, Aside from that, he's wearing, kind of like loose but not baggy clothing. Like just very clearly, like this guy's meant for movement. He just has this like almost pent up energy about him. Like he's just like a spring, just ready to unleash energy at any moment. You would see what looks like circuits crisscrossing his skin that have like a almost ethereal glow to them, and kind of ruffled black hair, almost like techie kind of wrist. Like one arm's got like armor-ish type stuff on it, very cobbled together, and on the other hand he's got like a screen that seems integrated into his hand. And then the other character, Firestorm, is right there with him. You would notice right away very red skin, red hair that almost seems to be burning. Like you would just get the hint of a glow of flame anytime she moved. She's dressed just kind of very, I wouldn't say like bland, but not showy, just very utilitarian kind of clothing, very practical. She would be kind of hovering around Hero. They stay very near each other.
There's a couple of the leaders, the icons of the community here, and one of them is your character, Mike. Would you give us a little bit on your fella?
He is Fostak Ice Hand. He's probably not getting real close because he doesn't really like how loud it is, but he's here as a presence, and he's like circling around the back, keeping an eye on people, trying to see if everyone's okay, because he's a healer and his main goal is to make sure that everyone is healthy. He's an older dwarf, right about 217 years old. He's got older but maintained armor that's not very fancy. The most prized possession on his person are the trinkets that are hanging in his beard that have been given to him by people that he's helped in the past. And he would just be pacing around, looking very much like he doesn't want to be here, but he's here anyways.
Speaking of maybe not wanting to be here, what about your character, Corey?
So Tatrum, for the most part in this situation, you would see a brown cloak that seems to drag on the ground, if nothing else. For those that may see into the cloak, even though he is only 2.5 feet tall, you would see a white scaled Gretchling with almost piercing red eyes. He would probably try to keep as far away from people as he can, but also keeping an eye on a couple of the, like you said, leaders that were there. So he's just kind of vibing a lot, possibly muttering to himself. Not that he wants people to hear that.
What about you, Jeremy? Would your fella be here in the concert?
Yeah, I think Pit would be hovering up at high angle recording the event since it is of note in the community, and so he's probably recording it for posterity and records. Pit is a bit of a strange character. He's kind of a rhombus shaped flash drive with the tip cut off, and at the top there's a hologram projector which normally displays 2 hologram eyes colored blue. Normally he's also in a state where the chassis and the internals of his body are kind of separated and floating using psionic energy as a medium of connection. And so he's got a bunch of different panel components that are all colored white orange and gray. And yeah, he's floating up there.
Interesting entity for sure. But yeah, the reason for this event is because there is a potential for a number of the citizens here, the denizens, to be chosen for a mission to lash back out against the Elganan Empire itself. So this is sort of a hype for that and inspiration and just maybe one last hurrah before people go to something so very dangerous. There would be, I'm almost certain you said you'd at least have your person visit. So Sketchy, why don't we hear about your guy?
Agar is hanging off to the side a little bit. 5'5", tall dragon folk, kind of mossy green scales, and looks kind of set up, that kind of person with prep for almost any occasion. He's armed with, katana at his side. He's got his mix of armor / hazard gear of kind of tightness scale mail, and just kind of has this hat pulled over his horns and his brow down real low, goggles on. He's just standing, having a bit of a drink, not really getting into the music or anything, and probably after a good look around would just be like looking to potentially leave.
Before that comes to pass, Kobe, you had said that Vin shares his music through the use of the Burning Scourge communicators. If that's true, this could be an encrypted chanting going on here. Is that how he's handling himself in this particular concert?
Yeah, I think he kind of always would. I don't think he ever would take the chance of not doing that. He would never want his appearance somewhere bringing any harm to anybody in the Scourge. I think he would always be encrypted to not have anybody else be able to figure out what's going on or where it's going on.
So who of you would come to this concert wearing your personal device so you can actually have it decrypted so you could hear the true words that he's singing? Or who all among you would have left that, or just have it on you but not on so you could live in the chanting encryption that you can't quite make out what the words are? Probably the ones forming the mosh pit of sorts. They're the ones who didn't come with it. They want to live in the guttural, insectoid, very click-clacky chanting that it would provide. It's a whole different experience. But yeah, what about Tallulah leaning to the side?
I think he would have left it. I don't think he would have it on his person.
What about Fostak pacing in the back, maybe looking at that mosh pit that's formed, because that could cause some harm to somebody? But would Fostak have brought the communicator?
The way that Fostak is he never goes anywhere without carrying everything. He's prepared for everything, but in doing so, his bag is always really heavy, bulky, and it's kind of helped him get used to sprinting around to heavy load.
So yeah, Fostak would be able to make out the actual words as the device is decoding it for him. What about Hero in Firestorm?
I feel like Hero definitely would keep it with them, and Firestorm would as well. They're very much keeping their ear to stuff and not just tuning things out.
What about Bite up there recording and documenting this?
I imagine Byte would probably have the decrypting on so that they can record the concert in its entirety.
Well, what about Tatrum?
If Tatrum got his hands on one of them, absolutely.
Most Burning Scourge that are accepted members into the Resistance would have a version of it. It kind of goes off of your own biometrics. So if it does break, then you're probably going to be without for a while until they could get you a new one.
Which, for the most part, Tatchum's accepted member. But is it broken, is the question. With his line of work.
Should we make a luck check?
I'm good for that. Would you take Fortuity?
Yeah.
It is broken.
Yep. You have one of those things, but it broke.
So yeah, it's probably just emitting a loud static because it's not actively doing what it's supposed to be. It's just letting out a piercing static at the moment. Yeah, shit. Stop. As he starts tinkering with it to try and make it stop. For prosperity's sake, I rolled a nat 1 for a 5. It's broken.
Oh, it is very broken. he doesn't want to be here, but would have Agar brought his communicator?
He would have brought it as to, like, keep as many tools and useful things on hand for whatever occasion, but he's not actively using it.
Well, we've already got the first roll of the campaign off, but why don't we get everyone in on a roll and let's get awareness checks across the board?
Would you accept perceiving?
I would, yes.
I instead substitute entertaining for the fact that I know I'm not paying attention to anything.
Yeah, why don't we get that roll from you so I could go into what some of them might be seeing. Let's see how well you are performing this concert.
I was gonna say, would you accept investigating?
I was gonna ask that as well.
I would accept investigating, but it will give you a very different observation.
I'm all for that.
I can work with that. Or alternatively, would you accept fortuity to just happen to notice something randomly?
I will only let one of your characters do that so we don't get crazy with a bunch of luck checks going off.
Perfect. Hero's luck check and an awareness roll from Firestorm.
Entertaining was an 11 on the dice for a total of 30.
I was going to say, let's get into that. That is an incredible performance happening here. The dice might not have been great, but
Even on my worst nights, I'm great, baby.
clearly. First things first, you all are definitely in the midst of a pretty great concert that is happening all around you.
I forgot to mention that I have the specialization talent of astrologer, which when I take a rest, I can roll 1d20 and write down the result. And at any point before the next time I take a rest, when I roll that d20, I may choose to replace the number that I rolled with it. So we'll post that in chat, and I'll go ahead and roll that d20.
Holy cow.
I'll note that down for the listening audience. That is a nat 20.
Definitely a good dice to have in your back pocket.
Yeah. And then I'll go ahead and I will roll my perceiving with intuition added to it.
Is intuition an option for this?
I mean, yeah, intuition, just the name of it alone, I feel like it's just an extra knack that some people have.
So that will be a cumulative 38 perceiving for me.
Oh my gosh, there's no better person
Damn.
to be documenting this concert because there is nothing Bite is missing. But I'm going to kind of go down the list from how we received them just to make this a bit easier. Tallulah, you got a 21 for this check. You definitely are noticing it's getting loud and rambunctious. You can't blame some of the people here. This is some of the best entertainment that Floodwater has had in quite some time. Maybe perhaps since the last concert that came through here. But there is one person here you're surprised to see because he's not usually out and about anymore. He used to, but walking around is hard for him these days. Jareth, the high priest from the Sanctuary of Loss, is here trying to show face. He is definitely staying off to the side. There are people getting quite rowdy. Even as he's kind of disappearing in some of the shadows behind some other people, you definitely notice him here.
Radical. Does he appear like he knows where he's going, or does he look a little bit?
You rolled pretty well. He is very much out of his element, but maybe it's a sacrifice he's making, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. He'll observe this and he'll kind of start heading in that direction, keeping kind of his arms at the side. He's nodding his head, and as he's passing by people, he's dancing and smiling and waving, but he's actively like avoiding touching people, trying to slide past as smooth as he can to try to catch up with him and accompany him and maybe lead him in a direction where he thinks he might have maybe not comfort, but like maybe a little bit safer.
He's not in the nitty gritty of it. He's off to the side. You're off the side, getting around. It might take a couple of minutes, but it's not hard. You definitely find your way over to Jareth. At first, it's hard to tell if he's trying to notice any particular thing or if he's just so overwhelmed. Your path up to him would bring you beside him, but behind him, so he has no clue you're there.
I'm gonna come up right behind him and I'm gonna like lean in next to his ear and go, "Get out of your element, old man."
Shit. Yeah, no. Out of my, maybe these days. I was quite the rambunctious little one in my younger years. I've lived lives like this before. It's just hard to remember me back then and now. And yeah, definitely out of my element.
That's alright. I'll sit close for now, just to make sure you don't get trampled in a mosh pit. That'd be very unfortunate, most unradical.
Yes, quite blessed. Thank you. And he's gonna kind of reach out and put a hand on your arm just to have that assurance.
Yeah, he'll give him a big dopey smile and do that.
Okay. Next we had Fostak. You got a 19 on your perceiving check. And you were here mainly to make sure people are being safe. So no doubt your attention is more wholly pulled by that mosh pit that's forming. You could tell that some people might already be getting themselves hurt. Yeah, it's maybe not the best thing to be doing in this setting, but you know, the letting off steam and just being in the moment. They also forgot their communicators, most of them, so the guttural chanting, it definitely gives a much different vibe for them.
He would be kind of like circling in the back, watching everyone, and every now and then looking over at the mosh pit with like a twitch in his eye as he's just like angry. He understands, but he's angry. Because he can see injuries happening, and he's not gonna rush in because until it ends, it's just gonna be a whirling of fists dancing with your hands and feet and hitting each other. And if he goes in, he's just gonna be struck as well. And he's kind of going to walk up eventually to Tallulah and the other old man, and he's just gonna hold his hand out to the old man, and he's got like 2 balls of beeswax as he's looking at him, and he points at his ears as he's looking at the old man, and he just hands them to him and he walks away as he gives him a way to slightly reduce the noise without making it so that he can't hear the concert.
Yeah, Jareth would gladly take this, and he's kind of looking down at it, and he looks over to you as you're parting ways and gives you that nod of gratitude.
And he just nods, no words spoken, walks away.
Gosh, Fostak is a nice one, ain't he, Tallulah?
Oh yeah, Iceman knows what he's doing.
There's this moment of silence. It's not silence. It's definitely, there's loud music, but silence from Jareth as he is eyeing these things that Fostak gave him. You know Jareth well enough that he's like, this would be nice. It is really loud in here, but maybe I can make this sacrifice and not use this. You see that playing out on his face. Like, he's not saying it, but he's contemplating not using these things. But you can tell he desperately wants to.
He'll kind of nudge him with his elbow and he'll say, here, let's meet him halfway. And he'll take one of the little pieces of beeswax and put it in one of his ears and gesture for him to put the other one in his other ear.
Thank you. Yes. Meet halfway. Splendid idea. Happily and relieved, he's going to put it in the ear that is facing closer to the stage.
Yeah, 2 partial sacrifices make a whole, right? I dropped out of school.
He's just can't help but laugh at this, and he's nodding. Agar, you too are off to the side, pulled back, disjointed from the rest of this, able to really look around, while Fostak is too far to have noticed and found something else to distract himself with from the mosh pit. You do see one of the other pillars of the community trying to get them to break it apart. Yimin Trolp, the small halfling, the political leader of Floodwater, is up there trying to get them to at least calm down, but his stature compared to the rest of the taller people in the mosh pit isn't doing him any good, and you swear he just took an elbow to the forehead.
He'll just kind of sit there for a moment, sigh. Whatever drink he had, he's just gonna look for like trash can or whatever nearby, just pitch it and slowly make his way over to him.
It's a little harder to get to him as opposed to how the rest have been moving around so far, staying on the outskirts of all the dancing and the mosh pit going on. So you're having to push through some people and really get into the crowd to get over to him.
I could make a comment. 2 of Vindicator skeletons that aren't on stage are on barrier duty, and they are intently watching the mosh pit. And elbows, punches, kicks are fine, but if anybody drops to their knees at all, the skeletons will instantly intervene and get them back to their feet, and then let everybody go back to moshing.
Okay, and yeah, as you're approaching Agar, we'll say that happens. One of the people deeper within the mosh pit collapses down, and one of these skeletons has to break from the barricade and push their way through, and pretty much as it comes close, people know. They're aware. Rules have been said. They don't mess with this. They don't want the show to stop. So the moshing lulls people spread out these skeletons through. A lot of it, there wasn't even the recognition or the notice. They were just so into it. So it's a good thing that there's somebody out here looking out for these people. And yeah, as the way is made clear, the skeleton does reach the person and help them back to their feet. This buys you an opening, Agar, to kind of get past and through without having to get in the thick of the chaos. But you do manage to make your way over to Yemen.
Yeah, so get over to him, offer a hand up, and just be like, you're never going to get much done down from there.
Wait, yeah, that's a good call. Really appreciate it. I don't mean to put you out, but...
And yeah, he's gonna reach out. So Agar is offering like him to climb up on a shoulder to get some height.
He'll look irritated about it, but for the cause of a little bit of safety, is like, yeah, come on up.
Much obliged. And yeah, he's gonna scamper on up. For an older halfling, he is very spry, very limber, and he's up you in a blur, kind of standing on your shoulders with remarkable balance. And he's looking around at the mosh pit. Perfect timing too. The skeletons are still making their way back out, so it's not gone back to being crazy, at least as crazy as it was. And Yemen cups his hands over his mouth.
All right, y'all, somebody already fell. Let's be courteous, let's be kind. If we cannot take care of our fellow community members, we shouldn't be doing something this aggressive and dangerous. Okay?
And there's a lot of dirty looks, but there are also just as many nods of acknowledgement. Somebody had fallen, the skeletons had to get involved. If this breaks out into too much more craziness, the show might falter. So the mosh pit kind of disperses. It seems like for now, they're going back to just regular dancing, a bit more spread out, a great deal less aggression. And with that, Yemen kind of slips back down to the ground and looks over to you, Agar.
Yes, couldn't have done that without you. Great work, great work.
You looked like you needed a hand, that's all. So, unless you need anything else, I think my time at this here party's done.
Oh, right. Yeah, it was a pleasure you were here. Glad you could pop in and make an appearance. Safe trek back home.
Little detour first if I can manage it. But you too, good night as well. And just hand over the shoulder, just walk away.
Next up, we'll start with an awareness check for Firestorm. There's a lot going on, a lot to get lost in. Definitely noticed what was happening with the mosh pit, especially once Yemen was able to get up on somebody's shoulders. You can't miss that. That was probably a bit distracting, and she saw that more than anything else until that kind of calmed down and the scene ebbed away from what was happening there. Whereas Hero, you got a fortuity check of 24. Holy cow. Somebody has some luck.
Yeah, that was an 8 on the dice.
Off to one side, and I'm sure there's somebody here who has noticed them pretty much the whole time, but we will get to that in just a bit. But off to one side in the shadows, hard to make out, not sure when they even showed up. There are some forms standing, not of Floodwater, they're visitors. Still part of the Burrowing Scourge, but Galagos, pretty much the leader of all the Burrowing Scourge, is off, almost blended in with one of the far walls, here to observe, not really to even show face, but just to see this, to witness members of his community or one of the communities under him. But of course, wherever he goes, Xavier does too. A very large hulking earth elemental standing next to not a small statured Trollkin, but smaller in comparison. And Xavier has the tower shield at the ready, almost partially covering part of Galagos, which is an extra layer of blending and hiding from all that's happening here. And with them, maybe a step or two away, Theza, the Star Elf Seer, is lingering. She might not be for long. It's easy to tell that she doesn't want to be here. This isn't the kind of thing she likes to see. With this noticing of the trio, does that change anything for Hero in the moment?
I don't think any of that has any significance to him. He is just vibing with the club scene. I mean, he's having a good time. He's not a big thinker.
Okay. As for Patrum, you did not get a very good perceiving check with an 8. You're aware of the trio that are hidden because you came here with them. Other than that, you don't really notice much of anything that's happening in the concert. What is going on with Tatram?
He's still messing with that communicator at this point. He's like, shut up. Almost seems to be banging it now against whatever he can find to try and make it stop, because it has changed from like a static to like a loud shrieking.
It's to the point where there's some others around that are turning and kind of giving dirty glances and glares in his direction. One of the closest people is kind of reaching up and covering their ears like, the heck is that?
It's the stupid communicator. And try to shut it up. Shit.
Throw it down and stop that thing.
I got a better idea. And he will throw it probably about 20 feet away. And then there's just the loudest whip crack in the world as this thing just shatters.
And the screeching and squabbling from it silences.
Better.
But there's definitely quite a few people that jump. This thing almost sounded like a gunshot going off.
It is the constructed spine of a giant beast that has chainsaw blades attached to it. So yes, it definitely cracked like a gunshot.
There's almost a momentary stuttering in everything that's happening other than the music at the far end. Lots of people turn and look at you now, Tatram. You've drawn quite a bit of attention.
He will, with a couple of flicks of his wrist, he'll circle up the whip again and just blink one eye, then the other. Sorry about that. Sorry.
There's some disgruntled mumbling, some shakes of heads, but people do start turning back away and shifting their focus back to the concert.
Check.
With that, and with a lot of people looking in the direction, because you're not far off from where the trio is, that you hear an audible sigh from Theza, who is over this, and she turns and meanders off, leaving the amphitheater.
How is Galagos reacting to that?
You know what? I will give you a chance because of your relation with him. Most others wouldn't even be able to attempt it. It's hard to get a read off of him. Go ahead and give me either an awareness or intellect check.
Would you take perceiving for this as well?
I'm gonna say no. The cues you're looking for are different than what you would be able to.
No.
He seems stoic, docile, looking around, almost like there's no reaction to what was happening with you. He's just taking everything in as passively as ever.
Shit. I'm not leaving. I mean, Galagos is not making any sign that he didn't want her to leave, so I'm staying.
As for Bite up in the air with quite the vantage point, of course, you definitely saw every detail of what was going on over in the mosh pit. You even noticed what's going on off to the side with Tallulah and Jareth. And then down the way, you see the trio that are well hidden from others that are on the same height as them, but you're above them, and they're not quite trying to conceal themselves as wholly from something overhead. You hear the screeching, squabbling of a failed, broken communicator. You see it thrown, see it exploded. Taking all this in, is there anything in particular Bite is doing? Any reaction?
Bit is fulfilling their role as chronicler in this situation and has a priority over recording all that they can rather than focusing on any particular thing individually. With that said, probably most of the attention's on the concert since that's kind of the main point, but there definitely are notes being taken on everything else that's happening, and I think he's just gonna continue sitting up there.
Yeah, you would have also noticed Theza, the seer, stepping away, but not the only one leaving the concert. Agar, you said after helping Yimin, you were done with this place. Where's Agar off to?
You mentioned having a bit of a detour before heading off home. His plan was to actually swing by the Sanctuary of Loss. Would he be right under the assumption doors open all times kind of thing?
Oh yeah, for sure. The sanctuary doesn't even have locks. It doesn't even have doors. Everything within the sanctuary is just wide open for anyone to come visit any part of it.
All right. He would be looking to go in.
Give me one more awareness check on your walk where you've left the amphitheater that the concert is at, headed toward the Sanctuary of Loss.
All right. Oh,
wow.
Damn.
Well done. That is a nat 20. There's a few people who aren't about the concert scene at all. As you're walking, you can't fail but to notice that the water purification station is still in operations. Somebody's in there running it this very moment, which this late of hour with something going on such as the concert, it's a little strange.
Yeah, he's not just gonna walk by that. He's gonna at least go up, see if he can get a sense. I mean, lights are on doesn't necessarily mean somebody's home, but he'll at least do a cursory glance to make sure things are okay.
In that case, Colt, would you like to tell us what your fella is up to here and give us a little explanation before Agar approaches?
Yeah, so as you begin to approach, you just hear, the normal, like the fires burning inside and chains rattling, pretty normal noises, although in the hum of the night, it might be a little bit more loud as you approach it and get farther from the concert. There's obviously someone home.
Well, then he's gonna walk up, but he's not gonna try to be quiet about it. One is probably, I'm imagining it's a bit loud in this place as it is anyways, if things are running and functioning as they should be. So he would actually try to find something you think would actually catch attention and just kind of knock on it a little bit, like say walking by and found empty pipeline or something, just thunk thunk. Hello?
The noises that you hear inside stop. You hear a loud rhythmic thudding, and then it stops as well. And then the door opens, and you see this person in front of you that's human. He's like late 50s, older guy, very tall. He's 6'3", but he's probably a little bit taller in his boots. Well put together, clean. He's not fancy or anything, but he's presentable. So he looks down, not menacingly or anything like that, not like he's looking down on you or anything, but he just looks down to make eye contact with you, and he goes, yeah.
These aren't the normal operating hours for this area here. What's such a gentleman as yourself doing here this late at night?
He looks really confused, but he pauses for a moment. You like water?
I do.
Oh, you're welcome. And then he turns around and he goes right back inside.
So I am very well assuming that I have never seen this person before.
Give me an intellect check.
Oh, God. Wow.
There's a derp moment going on right
Got
now.
your own
From a
name.
nat 20 to a nat 1.
You're failing to recall ever knowing anybody that works here, and you just know it's operated, it runs, there's water for the whole community, clean water, not just the river mucked water, but you guys always have fresh, clean water, no matter when or where. So obviously this station is being ran, but you can't recall ever knowing anybody to come in and out or know of anybody who actually works here.
I would imagine I've probably gone out on a fair amount of either walks or, irritatingly to the populace, rides about on a late night when couldn't sleep. Would he have been familiar with it actually having been run this time of day at all? It just feels kind of out of place.
With that nat 1 total of 5, you've never put that much thought into it. You're realizing all of a sudden. It's like something you've definitely taken for granted.
Can't say that he's wrong in his business to be here. Strange, but well, there is a concert going on over there if you can spare some time away. Not my deal, but you be safe or you'll be hearing from Dwarf come stumping around town. I'll leave you to your work.
He just looks over his shoulder and you see him wrap his hands around a giant chain and pull on it, and it like a huge vat of water is just lifted up from where it is, and then he starts to operate this crane mechanism and move it as the door closes.
Yeah, he's just gonna feel real dumb about that one, but it's late. I'm gonna go do my offering and I'm gonna go home.
We'll come back to the offering in the sanctuary with Agar, but we're going to pop back over to the concert. Fostak having given some aid to Lula and Jareth, at this point, you would have noticed what happened with the mosh pit and how it kind of ebbed away and how things have calmed down. So is Fostak still on edge? What's going on with him?
Whenever there's large gatherings of people or more than one anywhere, he's always looking to see if people are getting hurt. It's just in his nature to be watching for injuries because he's been doing it for so long that he almost doesn't know how to turn it off?
Having heard what could be easily mistaken for a gunshot, is that something Fostak would go investigate?
Probably, because it's an out-of-place noise at the concert.
Very much so. You said Tatrum was hanging out?
Pretty much. Tatrum wouldn't be too far from anything, other than he's probably close to a wall, hopefully one that doesn't go all the way up. That way he has an escape route, but yeah, he's still kind of hanging out.
Yeah, as you're inquiring about the noise, Fostak, quite a few people are pointing you in the right direction, and Tatrum, you could see a number of folks motioning towards you, pointing a dwarf in your direction. Can I get an intellect check for Fostak?
Glad you sent it to Fostak and not Patrum.
You know what? Why don't you give me an intellect check too, just to see it? Yeah, you two for an 8 and 7. While there definitely was history there, neither of you remember it. So, Fostak, you're pointed in the direction of Tatrum and told that the noise was caused by that little one.
He's going to, first of all, examine all the people around to see if anyone was actually hurt.
Everyone seems to be fine, but there's definitely little bits and shards and shrapnel laying all over the place.
So, there's bits of this thing everywhere?
Yes.
So he's just gonna stare at him, not say any words, look at the pieces on the floor, stare back at him, and then start picking them up so that people don't step on him and hurt themselves.
At this point, he would walk up to you, moving away from the wall, which makes him nervous, and be like, what you doing? No, stop that. I have to get the pieces back so that I can get a new one again.
He just continues picking them up, and he looks over. Well, fine then. And he's gonna reach back into his bag, and he's gonna pull out all the pieces, and he's gonna hand them to you. He's still picking them up, but he's just picking a piece up, putting it in your hand. Picking another piece up. Be a little bit more mindful of others, please.
Okay, so what happened was it started giving out a really, really, really loud, louder than the concert kind of sound, and people were complaining, so I took care of it, and I didn't think about leaving stuff behind.
Did you attempt to switch?
Alright, so the last time that I went on a hunt, I got hit really, really, really hard, and it kind of broke the switch. And some of the internal gears, not all of that damage came from me. Some of it came from that beast thing, monstrosity. I think it was undead, maybe. I don't know. Y'all ate it.
With that, Fostak's eyes opened a little bit. You were saying undead, and then y'all ate it, and then he was just like sighs inwardly as he's thinking about this and how unhealthy that was. Ugh. I swear.
I'm sorry.
He's gonna stand up. How tall are you?
2 foot 6 inches.
So you're shorter than me. He's just gonna put a hand on your shoulder affirmingly, not like in a mean way or anything. He's just gonna put his hand on your shoulder, and then he's gonna nod. Be more mindful of your surroundings, and next time take it in to be repaired as soon as you get back.
Right, I had to be here. I only just got back, and most people are here. You know, most people are here. What? It was the plan, but they are here, so I am here. And he is here, so I am here. Well, you're here now, which is why I am here now.
He's just gonna look at you, and he's gonna be like, I mean, all of this is true, but at the same time, if a piece of equipment isn't working, then all of your gear is compromised.
Most of the time I have to deal with at least one piece of broken gear. Currently, this was the piece. But you're right, it making that noise would have been really hard on a hunt. Oh, also, I think it's we've been talking for a minute now. I think it's proper, right, to give name, right? So I'm going to do that. I am Tatrum of Galagos.
Well, man, I am Fostak Icehand. And he's gonna
And
stick
then-
his giant armored hand out to shake yours.
He would reach up and shake your hand with his really small hand. So it's almost like your giant hand is trying to shake a baby hand.
And he would be doing his best not to squeeze too hard because he is in full armor.
Oh, does Tatrum know to do the same? Wait a minute. I don't think he does. I think Tatrum fully tries to grip whatever he can.
Okay.
Got those childlike grabby hands.
Right?
Is he
So
really strong?
How strong
Yes.
is this?
What do you want me to roll? Do you want me to roll strength or applied force?
Gosh, I mean, you're trying to make an impression. So yeah, give me applied force.
That's a 3 for a 17.
Bonus of 14. What the?
Little boy is strong.
It's kind of hard to see his eyes most of the time because his eyes aren't open very wide. You're gonna see his eyes open wider. You're gonna actually see his light brown pupils as he is a little bit taken aback by the strength that you're able to put out. And he's gonna nod and try to return it. Holy fuck.
Nice.
That hurts. For a 22. These metal heads are clamping and clenching really hard down on your fingers and your entire hand, Tatrum.
He just thinks this is respectable. Yes. What was that thing I'm supposed to say after you say after I say my name, then after you say your name? Can I have my hand back? No, that's not right. Well met, that's it.
As the two of you are making introductions and doing some of the firmest handshakes either of you have had in a very long time.
I was gonna say, this may have been Tatchum's first handshake.
Oh. But yeah,
What do you
let's move away from back toward the center. Hero definitely just vibing in the moment. Firestorm there with him. What's going on with these two?
So they would be kind of just going along with the vibe of everything. So like she would be, doing her own display of things, using things like the glimmer chant, which causes like fireflies or sparks to kind of waft out around her. Just doing that in a way that like it would move through the crowd around people and kind of in a way to add to the ambience of stuff. And Hero would just be doing his best to dance along, but not in like a traditional dance, more in just like he's just moving with the music. I'm gonna roll for his just because I want to see how well he's doing, if he's just making a fool of himself. Either way, he's having fun. With a roll of 23 on a tumbling check, he is showing off. Yeah, he's just having a blast moving around. Although when they hear the gunshot, I feel like he would see an immediate change. I mean, it's not a gunshot, but when they hear what sounds like a gunshot, you would see an immediate change. He would kind of like snap up and start looking around, trying to figure out what it is. Almost like he is just snapping into action. And immediately seeing the change, Firestorm would put a hand on his shoulder and like calm him down.
You don't need to deal with that.
That somebody could be hurt.
It's not our problem. We're taking the night off. Just relax. It's okay.
She's just like talking him down. And after, a few words exchanged, he would, relax. You're right. It's not our problem. We're here to have fun. And then, he would go back into it, still a little wary, but after a few minutes, he would relax and be right back into just having a blast, moving around, being a part of the event again.
All right. Well, definitely some of the best dancing happening here. As we pull away from that, off to the side, still with Jareth, Tallulah, you too would have heard that, but it was quite a ways away from you.
If it didn't quite clock as a gunshot sounding noise to Tallulah, he probably wouldn't have as much of a visceral reaction as Hero did. But he would still like perk up. He would go from that sort of like relaxed demeanor to a more upright. And he's looking around trying to see if he can spot where the noise might have come from and see if he can see what it was, see if there's any sign of like a crowd panic, and maybe even put himself in between where the noise came from and Jareth.
Okay. Jareth doesn't seem to have noticed the noise whatsoever. His eyes are a little glazed over, like this is almost too much for him now. All the noises are washing over him, and it's hard for him to focus on anything. He seems quite lost.
It's about time to put Grandpa into bed.
Yeah, definitely getting that feeling. You do glance Fostak way off in the distance, shaking the hand of someone smaller than him. It doesn't seem like anything ill or harmful is coming from that. It looks like whatever it was isn't anything for alarm.
I'll take a deep breath and kind of look at Jareth. He's gonna be like, alright, old man, you look like you're about ready to conk out. Why don't we head back to the sanctuary?
Yeah, yes. I've sacrificed quite a bit enough tonight. It's time to go.
I think at least half of your hearing is gonna be good enough sacrifice for the night.
Right. Yeah, let's go, please. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
And he's gonna start turning and heading off in the wrong direction. He's really jumbled about with all the noise. He's rattled.
Hey, I know a better way. Let's go this way. And he's gonna start taking him in the correct direction without making him feel bad.
Ah, right, yeah. He still has his hand on your arm, and so it's easy to shift and guide him in the right direction.
If he can, he'll switch sides so he can still be in between him and where he thinks he heard the sound. And he's still a little upright, a bit more relaxed now, knowing that it probably wasn't anything bad, but still on a bit of alert, knowing how tightly packed concerts can be.
As Tallulah is leaving, escorting Jareth back to the Sanctuary of Loss. You've got a little bit of a hike ahead of you. Agar definitely has a well enough head start to have reached the Sanctuary by now. What would Agar be doing once visiting this place?
First, he'd probably come in, and usually he wouldn't really be like the type to come in without some kind of simple set ritual and purpose. So he would come in, just kind of take a moment to, I'm assuming there's some kind of symbolism or altar or something to observe.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few altars around to the Lord of Sacrifice.
It'd probably just kind of, pick a spot, look on, let the eyes go, well, if you can see past the goggles, let the eyes go a little bit vacant as he just kind of thinks back on some of the things that were given for him, which is a short list, but a heavy list. Wouldn't take too long focusing on it, just a couple moments, but solemn silence, and then he would get up and go to where the offerings are given, and he'll look around to make sure that he's alone. I imagine he's probably heard something about doing this before, but this is the ritual for him where he'll actually kind of reach in past the vest and past the armor and would actually pull the scale off of his chest from over around where his heart would be, and that would be his offering.
Yeah, I mean, you don't notice anybody else around, which is odd. It's rare for the sanctuary to be this vacant. So maybe this is the best opportunity to have this moment alone.
He would pluck it, rip it, however, he's come to be used to it. I imagine as many times as he's done it, probably wouldn't feel it as much anymore. And just kind of, before he lets go, would just some give their all, some more than others. I just hope someday to make sure that what they paid for was worth it. And just lets the scale fall and then turns to walk towards the door.
As you're escorting Jareth up the way toward the sanctuary, Tallulah, you feel some resistance. Jareth kind of slows, turning, looking down the cliff at the city below. Quite interesting, that, don't you think?
What?
He raises a old, gnarled hand to point down the way at the lit operating water station. Of all of us, that's the one I believe sacrifices the most, and sometimes I just like stopping and watching from afar. I wonder if he realizes how well he would fit in with us here at the sanctuary. Mindness, what am I saying? Sorry.
Nah, don't be sorry. It makes sense, It's the things that we don't notice right in front of us that we take for granted, and his presence is one thing that we take for granted.
I'm thirsty. Let's go to the sanctuary and get some water.
Yeah, it's a good thing he's doing his sacrifice so we can drink some water, eh?
Exactly. Yes, parched. Come on. And as you two are just about to reach the sanctuary, out from within comes Agar.
Hey, Dragontail, my brother in sacrifice. How you been?
It's been quite some time. I can't say things are much different for me. A lot of noise, a lot of trouble, mostly noise.
This is the way of life. I expect your life to be noisy. He's gonna look at Jareth momentarily. He's gonna say, "You think you can make it to your room the rest of the way, old man?"
Yes. Yeah. And Jareth was already reaching up to your ear, the one with the beeswax in it, and is pulling it out. Here, and he's reaching up and pulling his out. Definitely some earwax coming with it, some hairs from it.
Sure.
And now with both of them in hand, he turns to Agar. Here, we sacrifice this to you, so to help with your noise.
Thank you so kindly, sir. And he'll just look at it. Tallulah would know he's kind of like visibly holding back a sigh, but he'll pocket them.
Tallullah's covering his mouth, trying not to laugh.
Jareth will put a reassuring, like, pat hand on Agar's shoulder. I'm parched and I just need to turn in. You two have a wonderful night.
Have a good night.
You as well, sir.
The moment
Jareth.
Jared's out of earshot, he's gonna say that man is a different breed, I swear.
Very much and entirely. So, it's been some time.
Yes. How's she doing?
She's doing well. Don't get her out near as much as I should like. A little too closed up lately.
Hopefully this concert will inspire you to let her get out a little more.
I'm doing better about keeping things, locked up. I mean, hell, I even let the one under my watch enjoy the concert on their own.
Oh.
Progress. Still got something on them in case something happens and I can locate them later, but I figure you would appreciate the small step.
A small step is still a step. I'm sorry I haven't been coming by as often. Hopefully that's going to change soon.
I assumed that you were busy with some important things, but it's nice to see you now. But it is a bit odd to see you without company.
Yeah, and he'll kind of cross his arms a little bit, almost kind of unconsciously rubbing his hand in the crook of his elbow. Yeah, I'm still getting used to it. I don't think I'll ever be used to it, but I'll kind of shrug his shoulders. It is what it is.
It's one of those things I've come to experience that it sticks with you for a long time, but it's not the worst thing to remember. Anyways.
Enough of the gloomy talk. There's a concert going on. People are having a good time. Well, you don't look like you were having a good time. I don't expect that you were.
I went to see my charge off. I tried to have a drink to enjoy things, but I don't care for the listening and the gatherings. I stayed, I watched to make sure that things seemed to be okay, safe. Other people seem to have had things handled fine, so making my way home to tend to things and hopefully see some decent rest. I know last time his show's noise carried quite far.
Oh, you got that earwax. That'll probably help.
Yep.
He'll kind of cover his mouth.
I have a hard time saying no to the old man.
Yeah, it's hard. He's just got one of those faces, He's got those puppy dog eyes. Feels like you're kicking a puppy when you say no.
I'm pretty sure that other people would rather feel kinder. I'd share some of the kindness back. He's been a hell of a man, even though lately he certainly seems to be running a little bit ragged around the edges.
Yeah. I feel like everyone's feeling a little bit ragged, but it's hard whenever you're older.
She'd be glad to see you. It's been a while. It's just been me tinkering with some of the scraps and messes that have been brought my way. Not many other people, but I have an inkling somebody's been sneaking in to mess with some of my things. The shop's been rather quiet recently.
Well, if you're still awake, I have a feeling you might be. After the concert, I'll drop by and say hi.
All right. Well, definitely, door's always open.
Radical. And he gives a big doofy smile, scratches his scraggly chin.
You'll hear like just the littlest snort. See you later. Have your fun.
Yeah, you too.
So Agar's heading to his workshop and Tallulah back to the concert. Why don't we end here and we will pick up from all these shenanigans next time. I'd like to take a moment here at the end of this session and wrap things up by sharing where else the sounds of the concert are being carried off to. Somewhere so very near, yet infinitely far away. A place between and beyond all of creation. Here, in this endless expanse of mist, the tunes are echoing in from all over, as if sourced from everywhere. A myriad of eyes blink open, all belonging to the same unfathomable monstrosity. Tentacles squirm and writhe as it wakes from its slumber. The music is nothing but a mere orchestra of dinner bells. Many maws split open to reveal countless jaggedly sharp teeth. Drool spills forth to show how voraciously hungry this beast is. And then it bellows forth a roar that can't be mistaken for anything other than that of an apex predator.
Puppet strings, I done cut my strings, yeah, puppet strings, I done cut my strings, so tell me how to live, try to tell me how to dance, tell me who to love, we done broke from that trance, so cut your string, yeah, yo, cut your string, puppet string, yeah, yo, cut your string, first things first, gotta unlearn the worst, that propaganda that they feed in ya, in the young, so we're just a scourge, back following the herd, bloodthirsty and cursed. Now we're just trying to get free, empire's brutality, so we done cut the strings. You ain't playing me, cause I ain't no fiddle, and this ain't no